Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing. Is this one working? Maybe we don't have any mics working. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, everybody. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Great. We have one mic that works anyway. Good evening, and welcome to the October edition of Kansas City Woodturners, where we're all about all things wood turning, of course. And
I thought this was the quilting league.
no, that's next door, Howard. No. My name is Mike Thomas, for those of you that I haven't had a chance to meet, which I think I've met most everybody. But want to wish everyone a happy Columbus Day, and thank you for including us tonight in your Columbus Day celebration activities. So, okay. Well, we have an exciting meeting planned tonight, as always. So to get started here, I'll give you a rundown of what we're going to do. Brief announcements. Well, welcome. See, first of all, have we got any guests tonight? Yes, sir. What is your name? Don, I got an email from you. Great. Well, thank you for coming. Tell us, how did you find us? Okay. Wonderful. Do you belong to a club back in Virginia? West Virginia? Oh, great. Well, I'm glad you looked us up, and I hope that, this will be helpful for you. And have you seen our shop back there? I'll be happy to, later take you back, or someone can take you back there and show you what all we've got. And we're open every Thursday night from, 6 to 9, and then Saturday mornings from 8 to noon, and open turning. Anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Any other guests? Yes, sir.
Gary Ellsworth.
And where are you from, Gary?
Raytown.
All the way from Raytown. And how did you find it? Did you come with this guy?
He gets me in all the trouble that I get into.
Well, thanks, Mike. Great. Have we got any new members tonight? We usually have one or two. Yes. And your name is?
Brad Foster.
Brad. Thank you. And you joined, 10
minutes ago.
Wonderful. So you are our newest member. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay. Well, to get started here, we have some brief announcements, and then we're going to get right into our demo, which is the reason why most people, according to the AEW, most people come to these meetings, is to see the demonstration. Then we'll take a break and have our do silent auction. We'll have our refreshments, and then afterwards we'll do the challenge, and then our show and tell, and wrap up about 9 o'clock. Okay? All right. Announcements. Let's see. Sean is doing great. I saw him Saturday, and he and Joan are going out. They're walking now about a mile a day. And he is eating soft foods and everything and feeling great. He is an overachiever. He's exceeded everyone's expectations on his recovery. He will be back at this meeting a month from tonight. He'll be back. So, and he's looking forward to it. It's funny. I saw him actually a week before after open shop on Saturday, and he was sitting back at the picnic table in their backyard whittling. And he said, I can't turn on my lathe. He goes, I want to do something with wood, so I've got, and he had this set of sharp of carving tools that were like butter knives. They were so dull, and he was trying to carve a bear out of a piece of basswood. I said, do you have any way to sharpen those? He goes, yeah. He said, well, yeah, that's inside and everything. He said, I just don't want to do that. I said, I can just get this hunked out here. Anyway, doesn't look like a bear, but anyway, he's not here. It was, what? Did he have surgery? Yes, he did. Okay, Sean had a condition called Barrett's esophagus, and that's right where your esophagus hooks into your stomach, the pylorus and everything. Anyway, he had cancer. And so he was on chemo and radiation, and I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks of that, and then had the surgery where they basically took out 3/4 of his stomach and about more than 2/3, almost 3/4 of his esophagus, and did an end-to-end anastomosis and hooked it back together and everything, and he's good to go. He can't eat much now. He's eating soft foods and everything, but great spirits and everything, and is well. And it's funny. It was so funny because they normally go out to eat on Friday evenings and with another couple, and there's a place they go. They have this baked potato soup that he just loves, and so he got a little cup of that, and oh man, it was just wonderful. That was like the first actual food that he had a couple weeks ago, and he said now though he goes, nothing tastes good, nothing, and so well the chemo is and radiation has done everything, but he said that's okay. He says I'll lose some weight and get back to it. But he said he's talked to a number of other people who have had the same kind of procedure, and he said that's kind of par for the course. It lasts for so long, but anyway, he's doing great. So looking forward to coming back, next at our next meeting. So, okay, announcements. Our annual election is going to be held our next meeting at the November meeting, and so we are taking nominations. If anyone is interested in nominating themselves or someone for a position on the board, either president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, or those are the officer positions. Then we have the bylaws say at least 3 at-large members. We have 4 or 5, and so anyway, if at-large members. So think about someone if you're interested in serving on the board, we would love to certainly have you. If you know of someone you think would really be good, you can nominate them. See me. The nominating committee is actually the entire board. So see me or any of the board members, and you can submit a name for nomination. Nominations will actually be accepted at the meeting next month too. So we will accept nominations from the floor at that time as well. So think about that, and consider how you might be able to give back to the club. So that, as well as let's see what else. Big thing is to take a look at wood chips. That's going to come out, which is also in wood chips, according to the bylaws, is going to contain the slate of nominees that we have at that time. So that will be available on for the newsletter that comes out here in a week or so. So open shop is everything is fine. No issues that I'm aware of there. So other than that, without any further ado, let me introduce you to Professor Kris Coyan. That is an honorary title we bestow upon those who are willingly come and share their knowledge and experience with us. And he is going to show us tonight how to make inside-out turning for Christmas ornaments. Now, Christmas is only 77 days away, so you got to get busy now.
Start thinking now.
All right. Without any further ado, let me let you take it away.
All right.
Now, okay, we don't have the.
I have no headset tonight, which is good. That means you don't have to listen to me talk very much. Do want to talk about the fact that the whole concept behind what I'm doing is fun and easy. It isn't. There's not a whole lot of preciseness to it. Tool technique, you don't have to look at me for that, because I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to where I want to be. I'll just attack it that way. But the idea being that we're going to hit it this month. Next month is going to be an open challenge for a Christmas ornament. It doesn't have to be this style, any kind of Christmas ornament. And then that means you can go home with a Christmas ornament next month and have one to give away for Christmas, is the thought behind it. This idea, I don't know that I'm the first one that did it. I didn't read about it anywhere, but when Jack did the four-sided inside-out, 4-piece inside-out turning last year and talked about the ability to do a 2-piece inside-out turning, I'd never really thought about that. And I had a bunch of sticks about this size that somebody had given me in some construction stuff that they were doing, and I decided I'd just try this two-piece inside-out turning. And the Christmas ornament part of it came because I needed some reason to turn it, or something to be turning. So basically, all I'm doing with this is on the outside, I'm going to turn a half of an image of something that's symmetrical. So it doesn't have to be, I guess, a Christmas theme. I was trying to figure out, is Effie here? I was trying to figure out how to do it, the Star of David, because I know there's a symmetry to it, but I couldn't figure it out in my head, and I never did pull it off because I didn't want him to feel like he had to do a Christmas theme item. But any item that you can get a symmetrical. So the things I thought of was a Christmas bulb, a snowman, a Christmas tree, a cross. The star is a little more challenging than I realized. And then, there's a bulb. And then the last one, when I think Kevin and I were talking about it, and he was saying, well, you could literally take a scroll saw and scroll saw some words in there. And that's going away from what my thought is as far as the inside-out turning. That kind of takes away from, any of doing that. But he's right. So what I did is I found that ho, 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 only I only had room for ho, ho on my piece, is a symmetrical thing. So I was actually able to turn it from the outside and then invert it and turn it in to make that. So I'm going to pass around just some examples of the simple little thing that I'm trying to get going here. Some of them are finished. Yeah, this one is one that it's turned inside out. I put a little color on it if it makes sense while it's on the outside. So when these pieces, before I glue them together, I'm putting the color in there and stuff, and then putting them in, knowing that at the very last thing that I'm going to do is sand these two faces down. So if I have any splatter paint or anything out here, or if my pieces on these particular pieces that I was using were more wedge shaped than they were square, it didn't matter. As long as I had the two parallel sides, I knew that I could belt sand and flatten that face. So on some of those that are more finished out, you'll see that I've actually put it up against and got a good flat thing. But after you cut the outer image, so this piece here started with these on the outside, and I cut that half of it into it and then inverted it and put it in. I don't think I left any that I had in that state. So ultimately, you're turning it around and you're putting them together, and your two images seam up together, and you glue it. And I usually will drill little holes in the end to allow my centers to go in without spreading it out. Especially initially, the first thing you're doing is taking two pieces and some turner's tape, or if you don't have turner's tape, I'm sure you could do this with craft paper just the way that they used to do it before turner's tape. Taking two pieces, putting a piece of tape between them, much like what Jack was showing us on his 4-piece only. And I usually do something like that to kind of get it stuck real good. Peel that off.
Okay, so you aren't even bothered to glue them. You're just taping them.
I'm taping them because it's faster to get them apart then.
Yeah.
And it's a quick procedure. So I'd usually probably clamp that in a vise or something so that I was pretty comfortable before I put it on the lathe. And then that's where this is when it's real important. This is when it's real important to drill a little bit of an inset there on your ends so that the tips of your centers have something to go in without starting to spread your piece, because I've done it without that, and what'll happen is as you're squeezing it tight, it's starting to spread that, and it doesn't make you feel warm and fuzzy. You can also, as a measure of safety, wrap these ends with tape too and kind of keep your piece together a little bit better that way. So I started with something like this. I came in, I picked the image that I wanted. The Christmas tree is a pretty easy image, so I liked doing that one. The snowman was a fairly easy image. The bulb is easy, getting the shape right, it's kind of hard. You'll see my bulb isn't wonderful. The cross is fun. On the one that I did, I put some beads around it, and it kind of give it a little bit of, and so turn around. Basically, I'm going to cut tenons on both sides and I'll show you why. This is after I've turned this with my half image on the outside. I've taken the piece apart then and glued it with the two outsides in so that they come together. That's where I'm at right here. So if you were on my list, and I'm sorry, I wrote this list real darn fast. This piece is at about 0.7 or number 7. So it's dry. I've already drilled the small holes in the ends. I've remounted it on the lathe between centers, and now I'm going to cut small tenons on both ends so that I can mount both ends into the chuck. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. A lot of this, if I'm just getting rid of product, I'm not worried too much about my cut. I don't want to obviously split it all up or splinter it, but I'm doing a lot of it with a parting tool and just like getting down and getting to what I want. But the first thing's the tenons, so I'm going to cut those and chuck it in and go through the process of drilling the little hole in the end that'll allow the string to go through. I did bring my chuck, I have a little apprentice chuck that I got at, I think it was a craft supply purchase when I got the very first lathe that me and Bobby were working off of. $99 with, sorry, $99 with 3 sets of jaws, and the little sucker's gotten me through a lot of things. So don't think that you can't get away with a chuck. There's obviously a reason to have a high dollar chuck, but talk about utility and just ease and functionality. That little dude has gotten me through a lot. Now, when I went to the symposium and I bought a live center that outpriced my chuck, I decided maybe it's time to start looking at a better chuck. I haven't got there yet, but I'll be looking. Now, on this particular one, usually there is an orientation. You know which end you want the top of the ornament to be and which end you want the bottom of the ornament to be. And on this one,
It's either ho-ho or oh-oh.
yeah, if you do it wrong, it's going to go uh-oh. But if you do it right, then it's going to say ho-ho. So you gotta make sure that this is going to be my top, or else it's going to be a uh-oh. So given that I want this to be my top and I want it to hang like that, then I need a hole in this end that gets through to the point where I'll have to be able to get my string through. So. And on these pieces that I've been turning, a lot of times I'll have a side that I haven't got rounded all the way. By the time I got it rounded all the way, I was afraid that it wouldn't fit in the chuck. So when I chuck it, I do want to try to get the 4 pieces of the chuck squeezing in on the rounded part. So I'll kind of position it so that that flat part's kind of in between 2 of the jaws, so that hopefully all 4 jaws are grab and hold pretty good. And just one step that I gotta take is with the Jacob's chuck. And all I want to do is drill a little hole down in through the middle. I have forgotten to do this step after the fact and just did my best at drilling straight down through the thing. It works. I don't know for sure if I got all the way through that or not, but I've got a good drill hole to follow if I didn't.
I think you wanna drill the other end.
It's gonna say,
Is it gonna say uh-oh? Did I
Yep.
do the wrong end? This is my uh-oh ornament.
that's what you don't wanna do.
I'm not gonna worry about that because
It's a demo.
if I start doing a finial on the end that I drilled the hole in, I'm gonna hit a point where I can't hit a point. So I'm gonna leave it that way. It's gonna be my uh-oh ornament. That was all I needed the Jacobs chuck for, and like I say, you could do that on the drill press just as easy. This does keep it nice and centered in usually, but it didn't. I think it like almost, but it didn't quite go through all the way. I'm not worried about that.
See, when you demo, you learn humility.
I bled on my last project when I came out, so I know humility. That's not a problem. Now, one thing that I did do to myself though, because I had planned it, I usually try to keep my image towards the top a little farther, so it gives me a little bit more to work with on a finial end.
And less to have to drill.
And shorter distance to drill. I can't believe I told you that and then did it. That's okay.
This is the entertainment
Throw
aspect.
it back in there.
All right, I'm gonna drill the other end, because ultimately I want a finial on that end, and we'll just work with the hole on the bottom.
Finial on both.
That way you can hang it from either end.
I guess that's true. Yeah, there are times during Christmas when I think, uh-oh. Yeah, there you go, horizontally hang it. Then it actually moves from one side. Yay.
That was quick.
I love it when a plan comes together. Okay. Now, I do like to return my live center back in position, just to kind of make me comfortable, keep it from vibrating a little bit more until I get that finial turned. That'll be fine. Oops, turn it around. This must be number 7A, B, and C that isn't on there.
Mount the piece in a chuck with the bottom end toward the headstock.
That is what I'm doing right now. No? That's what I did, so that, actually I did it, reverse that.
Reverse it. Now, reverse the piece of the chuck so that the
That's
top.
where I'm at. What number am I on, Howard?
Number 9.
All right, I'm on number 9 right here. So,
I tell you what,
I did at least,
this takes a lot of guts to do this, and then have the rest of us out here kibitzing.
yeah, you're a easy crowd of people I'm comfortable being around, which helps me. Again, isn't the tool that everybody would use to do, to take away wood, but I find it pretty quick to use. I don't want to get close to my image. I don't want to get too close.
How the whole thing is for the parties are. Yeah, I'm just. I wouldn't bring a side cut. I just kept going. Spread it out as far as I could until I hit the.
Now I know out here as I hit, so you can kind of see that ghost image.
Right.
It's very important that you see your ghost image because that's going to tell you kind of both the shape that you're following as well as kind of the depth you can go. I don't know how to explain this, but the vertical lines are what you really got to watch as you're cutting in because that fly apart. The, the other areas, you can actually get pretty close down to them.
This is a reverse of what Anthony used to say, make sure that the inside isn't bigger than the outside.
Yeah.
Now want to make sure you make that the outside isn't bigger than the inside.
Yes, exactly. So right here, this is going to be more of a less just kind of a transition shoulder that'll take me from the finial up to the end piece. Just like any finial, if you watch somebody teach how to do finials or long stem vessels, they'll tell you to start at the end and work your way that way. You'll be a lot happier with your end result that way. I'm going to try to keep a little bit in there just so I can keep that centered up. I can go down quite a bit here. I never know what I'm going to do on a finial. I just kind of make some cuts and
Just remember you got
after a little bit,
you do have a hole in that finial.
something comes together. I do have a hole, but I'm chucked up now, so I'm not too worried about it flying off.
You know, but you'll go through it.
Yeah, but you'll go.
But I can cut through it. If you're wondering what's he doing now, I don't know. I'm just doing. That's what I love about turning. Everything ought to have a purpose, though. All right. Now, I could easily spend a half hour playing on a finial, or on just goofing with cuts, but I'm going to leave it simple for your sake. It is best if you kind of turn on and off and kind of judge yourself and make sure that you're not cutting out anything that you shouldn't be cutting out and that you're not going to break it apart. The ghost image is what I'm going to look for to kind of establish my height. So right now I just need to take off some of the outside.
Kris, could you draw a line across the top of it? Watching the ghost, could you draw a line across the top, and when you got to that line, stop?
Yes, but you gotta watch these lines here. If I cut in
Yeah.
to the wrong point.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm talking about. Could you draw a line across the top of those and be able to watch for it?
More or less judge where you're going
Yeah.
to.
A heavier line. Would that be helpful?
Might be to him, it won't be to you. You can't see it. Can you see
Yeah,
that?
I can see that.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
can see that.
I'm
That gives
talking
me
about him.
That gives me,
Yeah.
that gives me a depth. I don't have to get it extremely thin. I'm not worried about impressing,
I could see that line.
impressing somebody with my
Yeah, you're right.
turning skills is not necessarily what I'm after. I'm after a gift that I can give somebody and they go, oh, that's nice. Yeah, you put your time into it. How great. Yeah. So I can kind of see I'm getting close to that O, but I'm going to go ahead and round around with it. And I'll take it in on this side, but I got to watch that one line.
And there is enough wood left to support the piece.
Yes, that's very important. Every now and then, Woodcraft sells those Wood River small little sets of turning tools, and they can get them down. I swear, I think I paid about $25 for 5 different little tools. You can't use them on a bowl or anything like that necessarily, but little things like this, they come in handy as heck. I just want a little definition on my 8. That's a perfect little tool for that.
And we got a sponsor's name mentioned.
Did you see that pencil line, Jim?
Yeah, I can see the line.
I guess it's ghosting there, but.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
I can see it.
Also, if you have a little longer stick, it helps you to leave yourself a little bit more room. And one thing I found is I crowd myself on my cutting off that end. I'm like leaving an 1/8 inch or 1/16 of an inch on the chuck and trying to cut that thing off sometimes. But whatever works. I have the pieces that I had. They were the size that I had. I wasn't too worried about it. Now when we turn it off, we should start to see kind of the general shape. My 2 ho-hos are pretty close together on this one. On the other one that I was passing around, I had a little bit more distance in between them, and I tried to make a little bit of separation there, and I think I might do that here, just get a line down in there to kind of give the 2 words a little separation that they don't have right now. I should have plenty of wood right in here.
I should.
Oughta. That'll help kind of define it a little better. Now, in theory, I could easily take that right down to that edge if I wanted to. I've got a curve on the inside, so I've got kind of an elliptical shape there, so it's got actually more wood than it looks like sometimes that's there. For today's demo, I'm not going to worry too much about it.
But I think your counsel turned the lathe off a lot to look close.
Definitely turn the lathe on and off. The lathe, I can't remember if it was Kevin or somebody told me lathes are made to turn on and off a lot. Use that fact, don't forget about that fact. Now there's a little fat down here.
See, that's what I think is still one of the interesting things about wood turning, is once you learn the mechanics of it, now you're thinking shifts to design. What's it look like? Do I
satisfied with that. It's got some fun shape to it. It kind of defines the letters a little bit with the shape. It's good enough for me, so now I need to figure out how I'm going to end it off on this end. I usually put a little ball or something on the end if I've got enough room. Some of the balls on the ends I've finished off at the grinder to get them, because I couldn't cut them necessarily with the space that I've left myself. Yeah, the cross that's going around, you'll notice the beads are terrible on it because I got some chatter going on out here, and I just kept going. So I was just like, I'm not impressed or satisfied with those beads, but I was trying to get a few of them done for examples, so they had to do. Okay. Just going to transition down to a ball. All I'm really trying to do is get down to a point where it'll match kind of the diameter of the ball that I'm trying to put on the end. And then I'll start cutting the ball if I got room. Okay, so I didn't stop to sand. I maybe would have stopped before I did that, tried to sand some of these surfaces down a little bit more. But generally, I'm going to stick a string through there, tie off the string and pull it back up. And the one thing that I said that I would do is I'd go to the belt sander and just take this face and grind it down till everything was smooth. And if I had more distance on one side of wood, more wood on one side of the H than I did on the other, then I know that I'm kind of angled, and all I do is go back to the belt sander and try to take that other side down a little bit. And that's about as good a guide as you need to kind of keep yourself parallel and straight. The color is easiest put on before you reverse it and glue it. So I would never attempt at this to try to go back in there with color. It's even, it's a good time if you want sanding sealer on it, put it on before you reverse it. That'll help you out. Try to get your glue out from the inside before it dries. It's a little easier then. A little decoration, little color, ribbon, and you got a little ornament. And, you know, somebody will be amazed and, oh, that's great, that's great. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I'm looking for. So that's the gist of it. The shapes, I mean, the other day I Googled Christmas silhouettes just to see what I could see that would be potentially symmetrical. Now, Anthony, I want you to pull off a reindeer because those antlers look hard to me. But I mean, just any symmetrical image. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a Christmas image, you know. If something that meant something to you, put it in there, and all I'm doing is cutting the outsides, putting them together, and then cutting towards that image so that you get kind of a oval outline around everything. So simple project. I hope you guys got something out of that, but it's not there's nothing, it's not hard, and it's something you can do, 4 or 5 of them pretty darn quick in a night, and just try different ideas. So hopefully somebody will try it, but I have absolutely no problem on next month's challenge if it's not this type of ornament. It's just an ornament. I just want to see a lot of ornaments. We ought to have an ornament exchange or something. I'm done. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Kris. I think we all learned a little something here. Really, that's great. I think everyone can do that. Any questions or anything anyone has? Okay. 2 announcements I forgot to mention. Number 1 is there is a Price Chopper fresh bag of top blanks. We came up with the idea of, if you want to take them and turn them and bring them back at the next meeting, that would be great if you want to turn some tops for Ronald McDonald House. Anything else that you want to add on this, Jerry?
We made our 5th delivery, so we're up to 1,125 for the year so far.
Congratulations. That's unbelievable. And the record last year was how many?
Maybe 1,200. So we're going to
Wow.
make 1 more delivery in early December, so we'll be over 1,300.
This really brings some joy to these kids that are going through, some real challenging health issues and everything as they stay at the Ronald McDonald House, and, siblings and family members and everything. It just something that really can help brighten their day. And Jerry's been doing this and the top guys for many, many years, and this is really something. So if you would like to help yourself to some of those tops, just be sure and turn them and bring them back to the next meeting, and we'll see how many we can get above 1,200 for last year and beat that record. Okay. Number 2 is that if you brought an item for the show and tell or the challenge, please, if you haven't already done so, see Ann. She's going to take your picture over there, over here. So this will really help with the newsletter. This is one of the things that actually it was an idea that Sean came up with that the board voted on and approved at our last meeting last week, is that we're going to have a tabletop photo booth set up so that there'll be high quality pictures taken that will be really kind of nice for publication or archiving or whatever, of you and your work, so that we'll have that available. And this makes it improve the quality of our newsletter. Okay, so this is kind of a dry run tonight, but Anna has so graciously agreed to try to get this set up and everything and get everyone's picture. So if you haven't already done so, please see Ann during the break here. And with that, why don't we go ahead and take our break now? Refreshments are in the back. Please don't forget to take a look at the silent auction items over there on the table and sign up for that using the last 4 digits of your phone number so you don't know who you're competing against. And at the end of our break, we'll announce the winners. Okay?